You know, sometimes in life, the light fades a little bit too early. Sometimes you seem to forget the most important ingredient. And sometimes it is better to wait a week before finally finishing the project you've been working on and had hoped to do in one day. Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Claire and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be finishing off our Burns Night mini-series, as I'm calling it. So today we're going to make pudding, and we're going for a very yummy sounding traditional pudding called raspberry Cranachan. Told you I'd learn how to say it. Probably pronounced it completely wrong, but that's what I'm calling it. This sounds absolutely delicious, just oats, cream, raspberries and whiskey. What more could you want in life? I have all our ingredients and I think we should just dive straight into the recipe, so let's go. What am I doing? Since the last video my boyfriend actually drank all the whiskey, so we do have a different whiskey to try today, see if I like that instead. So the one we had last time was Grant's, which is basically just one of the cheap whiskies you buy if you don't want to spend much money, which is probably why it doesn't taste all that great. So we basically got the cheapest of the new whiskies that they brought in for Burns Night, so the fancy Burns Night whiskies. So we're going to see what that tastes like compared to this one. My boyfriend's already tried the new whiskey and said it's definitely got more flavour and he much preferred it. But let's see if I actually even like it in the first place. It definitely smells nicer. It's not as offensive on your nostrils. Still strong on the throat. I don't think I'm going to be switching to whiskey as my drink of choice anytime soon. And we've run out of Coke now, so I can't even mix this with something. Is whiskey and orange juice a thing? I feel like it shouldn't be. I can just feel every Scot out there just cringing inside. No, that's not a good mix. I think we should just get onto the cooking because that'll probably go a lot better than the whiskey drinking. So the first thing we're going to do for our Cranachan is to take some oats. So we got this gigantic bag of Scottish oats. What we're going to do is pop some tin foil down on a baking tray, and then we're just going to put some oats spread out on top and then pop them in the oven to grill until they smell like they're done. That's all the instructions say in almost every recipe. I imagine they won't need long, but we'll see. So whilst that's in the oven grilling away, we're going to make the raspberry puree. So first up, grab all your raspberries and mash them up in a tub until they look disgusting. Then we're going to take a sieve and push the raspberry mixture through the sieve to create the juice. Finally, it's time to grab some sugar and mix that in until it tastes nice and sweet. So I've only just finished the puree, but this is already smelling quite good. So, yes, it's looking quite toasty now, but only on the top layer. So try not to burn your fingers too much, but I'm going to try and just move this around a bit. Spread it out a bit more. And hopefully you can get the non-cooked bits underneath to cook. That is smelling like it's almost done though, so I don't think it's going to need much longer. So the recipe says to put in 350 millilitres of double cream, but this is for 4 people and there's only one of me. So I'm not going to put in that much. There's about 300 millilitres in here, so I'm probably just going to use this much because I measure things properly in this kitchen. It says to whisk this up until it's set, and I don't have an electric whisk, so I'm doing it all by hand. Might be here a while. Meanwhile, I think my oats are burning. So, we're going to grab them out. And they look good. So, the oats are done. Mmm. Smell delicious. I've been whisking for a little while now. It did say not to over whisk, but it just needs to be set. So it's kind of stuck to the whisk a bit, but it's not, oh, it kind of makes little mini peaks. I don't know if you can see that. It's not completely set. I don't know if I've over whisked it or not, but but now it's time to add the flavour into this creamy goodness. The van's just pulled up outside. You better not be coming to me, because I'm busy. Yeah, so we just got a delivery and he walked past the window because our front window is on kind of, looks onto our front garden. He just looked through the window and gave me a thumbs up and pointed at my camera like, awkward. So let's carry on. Next we finished whipping our cream, so it's time to put in some honey and whiskey into the mix. And in here it does say 2 tablespoons of honey, but again this is for more people. So I'm just going to put 1 teaspoon in. I think that will probably be enough. And then it also says 2 to 3 tablespoons of whiskey to taste. I'm again not going to put in that much, A, because I hate whiskey, B, because this is just for me again, and roughly do a teaspoon. And then you got to gently stir this in without whisking the cream anymore. So you can see it's kind of changed colour now, still kind of holding its shape. Smells very much of whiskey. So next we take the oats. And this pan is no longer hot, which is nice. And we're just going to kind of sprinkle them into here as well. And we mix it all up again. Perfect, and now it is time to serve. So I've chosen a small wine glass, but any nice looking glass will do. And then we're basically going to layer the cream, the raspberry sauce and the raspberries. So we're going to start with this first. And this is a trick I learned from working in pubs and things, basically kind of dripping it down the side of the glass. So this kind of dish in the olden days probably wouldn't be eaten as a pudding, but actually as a breakfast, as the oats and the cream and the raspberries do make a very hearty breakfast. However, this older one was also a bit more like a drink than like the kind of pudding version we have today, making it easy to drink and then go if you've got a long day of working on the land. So now we've learned a bit more about Cranachan, I think it's time to taste it. So there we go, made a Cranachan. Now I'm really impressed with how this looks. I knew it was going to be amazing. The only thing I'll say about this is with the oats after a 3-course meal, this is going to be incredibly filling. I haven't even eaten lunch yet. And just from a few bites, I don't think I'm going to need any lunch. I do think this is probably really stodgy because I put too many oats in compared to the amount of cream. So when you are following recipes, I have one linked down in the comments below or in the description box below. Do make sure you follow the recipe levels properly, unlike me, and then it won't be quite as stodgy and filling. But even with me putting too many oats in, this is absolutely delicious, so I would highly recommend Mwah! So now we've finished our supper and we've finished the pudding. Let's figure out what happens after dinner. After the dinner, it's time for entertainment. Now this can be a few readings, songs or poems by Robert Burns himself, but these can be quite tricky to read. If you watched my last video of the haggis, neeps and tatties, you'll have heard me struggling to read kind of the old Scottish language. In between separate recitals of poems and songs and pieces written by Robert Burns, it's time for the main speaker or the host to give a speech about Robert Burns called The Immortal Memory. This is where they'll pay tribute to Robbie Burns' life, to his works, and often they'll be peppering the speech with humour. Then there's some more entertainment and there is a toast to the lassies. This toast is originally because in the olden days in many countries it would traditionally be the women in the kitchen. So this toast to the lassies was to thank the ladies in the kitchen for all their hard work for the evening. And again there'd be lots of wit kind of peppered along in there as well. There'd be a bit more entertainment, a few more poems and songs, and then the lassies will reply to the laddies. So they'll be kind of replying to what the lad had said about the lassies. Again, there'll be a little bit of wit, but it'll all be a really nice, happy end to the evening, with everyone kind of praising each other and thanking each other for being there. Finally, at the end, the host will thank everyone for coming, and they'll all join arms and sing Auld Lang Syne.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
And that's it, that is the whole evening. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this kind of trio of videos as much as I enjoyed making them. Scotland's a place I've visited quite a lot through my childhood, and it is a really, really beautiful country, so it's quite fun to actually learn a bit more about their history and their culture. I hope you'll join me again to learn possibly about some more places and cooking, or about animals, or on an adventure. I will be going away in just over a month on a big holiday for 2 weeks to 2 separate countries. I'll only be going to the kind of capital cities for each country, as we don't really have time to do anything else, as there's so much we want to do in those cities, and because they're both quite expensive to get around. But hopefully you'll join me for that as well, and there will be hopefully more cooking videos in the future too, as well as more animal videos. I've got a few animal videos in mind as well, so if you like nature, if you like culture, and if you like exploring the world, do stick around. Thank you so much for watching this, and have a wonderful day. Thank you! Bye! I'm off to go eat lots of pudding instead of my lunch now. Hello everyone, I need something to crush it in. Oh! I'm very sorry to anyone's children who I just terrified there. Finish your mouth colour before you talk. Cranachan, Cranachan, Cranachan.